December of 2016, my youngest son became sick. We thought it was the flu. We'd been out at a baby shower and he'd had some cupcakes and things like that, and he wasn't feeling very good afterwards. And we thought, well, there's other kids in the house that have had the flu. So he wasn't doing very well. He was throwing up. The next morning, he was still pretty sick. He didn't seem to be getting better. And we thought maybe he was getting low on energy. So we made some kind of sweet drinks for him. And over the course of the day, he just seemed to get worse and worse. So eventually we took him to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, they started checking him out. One of the things they did was they tried to check his blood glucose. They did a little finger prick on his finger, and it just said high. It didn't read. It wasn't able to get a reading. So they drew blood. They found that his blood glucose was 68 millimoles per liter, which is about 1,200 milligrams per deciliter. Very high. The doctor was, at that time, very concerned, and he took me aside and he said, he's type 1 diabetic, and it sometimes manifests this way, but your son is fighting for his life right now. And so we rushed in an ambulance from the small town hospital where we live to a bigger center, and they whisked him away and did some things, and they called me in about 15 minutes later to say, we can't keep him here. He's going to have to go to the Children's Hospital in Calgary, which is south of us. And there's a paramedic team that's on its way there, a specialist team to take him. So I rode in the ambulance with them down to the Children's Hospital. And we spent basically the next 3 days with him in pediatric intensive care. It was horrifying as a parent to be in this situation and being told that there could be complications, he may not survive. So I basically didn't leave his side for 3 days. My other son came down. We realized after a couple days that we hadn't really had anything to eat. So he stayed with him. We went out to dinner, and as we're sitting out there at dinner talking about how this is going to affect our life. We have 8 kids in the house. He's our youngest. We were thinking, well, I mean, obviously we're not going on holidays anymore. Everything's going to be changed. Everything's going to be different. I've been working with diabetics for quite a few years in my practice, helping them with diabetic neuropathy. So I knew a lot about the complications that can occur when someone has diabetes. As we got him home, there's so much that we need to do and to stay on top of this, but the technology is so amazing now, even for a type 1 diabetic, that I know we can keep his blood sugar fairly close to stable. I mean, he's a kid, it goes a little crazy at times, but we can avoid a lot of the problems with kidneys and retina and neuropathy, like a lot of my patients suffer with, by doing the right things. The system that I use in clinic to help my diabetic neuropathy patients stop the damage and heal is the same thing that we do to work with Abram to keep him healthy, making sure that the nutrients are there, that his body has what it needs. So he's doing pretty well. And we're very hopeful. As we left the hospital, 4 days later, we got out of the hospital, there was people with kids in the Children's Hospital that, I mean, they're not getting to go home yet. Some of them may never get to go home. So we're very lucky, very fortunate to have just type 1 diabetes. And now we're through the emergency situation. He's doing pretty well. And I know that if we do the right things and take the right steps, he's not going to have a lot of the problems that can develop. Now, I want to be able to help you with the same problems, because a lot of people didn't have the technology when they first were diagnosed with type 1, or if they become type 2 diabetic, they have the same problems. They've got kidney issues, they've got retina issues, and especially like a lot of my patients, they have neuropathy in their feet. Neuropathy is not the end. There's so much you can do for it, and there's so much amazing research. So I'd like to help you with that. And actually, if you click below, there's a link that'll get you some free tips just to help you along with the pain and the discomfort. And there's a lot more that we can do to help you. That's what this site is about getting you the help that you need and getting your feet healing so you can get your life back. Because diabetic neuropathy steals away your life. It steals away the things that you love. You can't play with your grandkids. You can't do the things that you want to do. And I want to help you be able to do that again. So that's why we're here, because you can.